Welcome to The Atypical View. I'm your host, Lauren Florio, a licensed marriage and family therapist specializing in autism, ADHD, and broader neurodiversity. As a fellow neurodivergent mind, I'm here to help us learn and spread awareness on all things mental health, as well as help us unlearn harmful stereotypes by providing psychoeducation rooted in research and lived experience rooted in my atypical view. The Atypical View is obviously this podcast, but it's also my private practice where I provide therapy to clients here in California with me and provide neurodiverse coaching to others worldwide. So, without further ado, let's jump into the Atypical View. Hello and welcome. I'm sure you've noticed today's episode is quite a bit shorter than our standard episode. Today, we're going to be focusing on how to take a mental health break. It is going to be shorter. We're not going to have 3 segments. For me, I've had a number of things that have derailed my ability to keep up with my weekly podcast due to a handful of health issues and tech issues, from having to send my computer away to get it fixed and not being able to edit or record, to having to buy a whole new computer simply because mine couldn't take the heat anymore. So I have fallen behind. My health is begging for a rest. And as a mental health professional who wants this podcast to be professional and consistent, also recognize that part of being a mental health professional means showing a good example. So this week's episode will be short, and this will be a bit of a break from our standard programming. While I understand that not every single one of these tips is going to be accessible to every person, and depending on what you're navigating, some of these things may be harder, focusing generally today on some ideas to try if you're able, I want to start in 3 categories. So, the next time you take a mental health day or hour or even moment, here are some things to try. We want to start with rest. And as much as I am no better than the average person, rest is not doom scrolling on social media. Doom scrolling is dissociating, and it's not restorative to our nervous system. Instead, we need to try to actually sleep. Get more sleep than you've been getting. Really try to, if you're a napper, take the nap. Get to bed an extra hour early. Push back your alarm on the weekend. Whatever it is, a small thing that you can do to get a little extra rest into your body. Next, we're going to fuel our body with nutrient-dense food. Be mindful of what have I been missing lately. Maybe you throw in an extra protein shake. Maybe you need some more veggies. Maybe a nice hearty soup is just going to be comforting for the soul. Focus on getting in some nutrients that maybe you've been lacking lately to revitalize your body. Next, we want to focus on rehydrating. So maybe you want to take some time to get a little electrolytes in, grab a coconut water, or just drink some plain old water, because maybe we've been reaching for our bottle less and less. We also want to focus on our physical care. That might mean taking a shower, doing our skincare, focusing on our oral hygiene, or it might be stretching our body or moving our body if we have the capacity to do so. Movement doesn't have to be exercise, but it can be if that's something that makes you feel better. But sometimes literally just a quick stretch or a walk around the block can make a big difference depending on the person. Next, we're going to lean into doing something creative. And I want to emphasize that this area should be really focused on having no agenda or an attachment to an outcome. One of the cool things about triggering creativity in the body is that it can be an off switch for anxiety. We want to focus on combating that nervousness, that overwhelm, that shaky feeling by engaging in something creative. This can be a special interest. This can be totally random and just something you have access to, even if you're not necessarily feeling up to it. So you can try and draw and just scribble on a page. You can paint, you can sing, you can dance. Try and play around with a new hobby like fiber arts, ceramics, woodworking, collaging, whatever you can get your hands on and that's accessible to you and hopefully a little interesting. So give it a try. The next is something I've been introducing, and it comes from this challenge that I'll talk a little bit about at the end. But do something weird. Do something to wake up your brain. Then try something you've never done before or haven't done in a really long time. Some examples would be try drawing with your non-dominant hand. Try staring in a mirror in silence for 5 minutes, looking at yourself. Try writing a wish on a piece of paper, turn it into an airplane, like a paper plane, and fly it around the room. You could look up at the clouds and try to find pictures and images in the sky. You could finger paint. The ideas are limitless. This actually does come from this challenge that I've been trying on TikTok. It's this Rewire Your Brain challenge, and it was inspired by a different creator. Their socials are Nuff Said. I think their @ is just Nuff, Nuff, but they're really cool. They started this. They also, on their Instagram, have a link to a lot of these ideas. So if you want to give it a try, go check them out. I also tag them in my TikTok, so you can look at my page or their page for some inspo on what to do next. I just started the challenge. I'll be adding more videos on that. But for today, I'm not going to force myself to buckle down and continue to edit videos to make sure I can push something out in time. I'm going to upload this and call it a day, and I hope that you can give yourself a break too. Reminder that you matter, you deserve rest, you deserve a break. And if you're in burnout, there is hope to come out on the other side. I genuinely hope that if you try some of these things, that you feel a little bit more rested on the other side. I know I am going to try a handful of these things as well. Wishing you all a happy holiday season as we move into November. And thank you so much for tuning in and wanting to learn. We'll be kicking things off again next week. If all things can go smoothly. So stay tuned as we continue to post new episodes in the future. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for your passion towards neurodivergence, learning, and mental health. And take care of yourself. Thanks for spending this time with me today. If this episode resonated with you, feel free to share it, subscribe, leave a comment or a review, or send it to someone who might benefit from the psychoeducation, or just need a little reminder that they are not alone. If you are interested in my coaching or therapy services, you can reach out to me directly and connect with me at theatypicalview.com. Until next time, stay curious, stay kind, and I hope we can stay connected.